Good evening.
Yeah, tell my body conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe or go outside without you tripping. Got niggas trying to love me, I can't ride without my pistol. My bitch, you kill it, crocodile, but I know a little. Can't nothing past the shit I done done before. Y'all in the sand, I'm over the combo. You run the range, bro. You ain't never got to stress about no lesson, bro. You ain't never got what you playing for. Private jet plans, that's all on your plan for us. Plan for us. You can plan for it. You got the birds. Oh, it's you told me the way my bird is. You know whatever the hurt is. You need to get on that. Don't get it right now. I need to teach you in the cool back.
Hey, Miss Fendi. What's up, baby? It's good to see you, boo. So, y'all, I wanted to get into this book, Memoir of Delaware County Prison, because prison stories, I think, especially among the Black community, are important because in this type of world, I've heard people, you guys, that were framed and they never thought they would be going to jail. They didn't have basically they didn't have any type of ways to know about what goes on in the jail. And this memoir by Reginald L. Hall, I have followed this author for quite some time because his story was he really told truthfully what exactly happened to him in prison. And it's so much stuff in this book, from download men to just how he maneuvered around prison. You could tell that he was a smart guy. You could on a certain level. Like as a gay man, I have these type of guys are the ones that, and this may sound awkward, like these type of guys, they make it in the hooker type realm of things. Like they just they know how to talk game. This guy, he knew a lot of game, and that's why he survived in prison. So just I've just by what I have experienced with this book, I know y'all will like this too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. This is one of my favorite books. I gotta say, y'all, it really is. So please, be sure to let me know if y'all can hear me and everything. Because I want to get everything out accurately. Get everything out accurately. So this book was made by Reginald L. Hall. And this is his memoir while he was in Delaware County Prison. So he stated, this book is dedicated to my mother, Theresa B. Hall. Besides my Lord above, you are my only sunshine. You are my shelter when it storms, my strength when I feel weak, my wisdom when I am confused, and my eyes when I cannot see clearly. You were there for me when no one else was. Thank you. I love you, Mom. And he said Delaware County Prison. So that's great to know that he had his mother, for so many years. Okay, so y'all, I'm gonna get into the introduction. When I was young, I used to watch old movies where the bad guys always ended up going to jail. When I got older, I watched my brother go to jail. I never believed that same thing would happen in my life. Not until the day I found myself walking through those metal doors. I've been witness to things I never knew existed. And I did things I never thought I'd do. The 8 months I spent in jail were the worst months of my life. Being in a place where I where I'm told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it was not right for me. Although I knew it couldn't rain forever, that the sun had to shine at some point. At times, it seemed the sun would never shine my way again. Hey, my feto. Hey, baby, how are you? Good to see you, baby. Delaware County Prison, TCP. No, that's it. I'm sorry, y'all. DCP is a place I never want to see again. I now understand I I scared a lot of family members when I started talking all that shit about suicide, but I just wanted out of there. No one knew what it was like taking showers in nasty tunnels, mm, going to the bathroom in front of numerous people. Never have I been so embarrassed or humiliated in all my life. And I cried. Lord, how I cried. Even though the laughter, and there was laughter at times, my heart still wept. Getting back home was my focus, and at times it seemed I would never make it. It was more than just a home cooked meal that I needed. It was the peace that came from being with those I truly love. I was about at my limit when I had to sleep on nasty metal beds and eat off of dirty trays. But there was nothing I could do. I made my bed and I knew I had to lie in it. Being confront confined behind brick walls, away from the people I loved, was lonely and scary. I vowed I would never see that place again. Being gay in the military is one thing, but being gay in jail is a whole different thing. I'm glad to be home. So, yeah, everybody, from what he stated, Delaware County Prison is a no no. You don't want to go there. It doesn't sound like a happy place at all. No way, no how. Oh, boo, I'm doing okay, darling. I actually have some, actually, I had time to read because I have some clothes that I just put in the dryer. So I was like, ooh, I can't wait to read this book with y'all. Ooh, boo, you said don't do the crime. Ain't that right, boo? You gotta say it, darling. Don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. Facts on facts, boo. Shoot. Boo, absolutely. You don't want to do that crime and then you gotta be in jail. I've heard it too many times, boo. I had one cousin, and I'll say, he wasn't really trying to go back. But but he's always been known as the cousin that went to jail. What a title to put on you. That's not a title that you want. They just say, "Oh yeah, remember when he went there?" That's how the family do him, y'all. Hey, Pastor, how are you? Yes, Pastor. Yeah, I just finished watching now. I'm just drying. Yeah, and I wanted to come and read this book, Pastor. This is a good book right here. We got some foolishness going on right now. And these folks listen to this jail story, and this can keep you out of jail. Pastor, I don't know if you've ever read. I think you would like him too. Reginald L. Hall. He's actually made a couple of books, and I hope that they still have some of his books on Amazon because I plan to buy even more of his books. This one was a true story though, and he's a gay man that went to jail. And Pastor, this was like, he went to jail, and you could learn something from him. because he was like really smart. You could tell that's why he made it through jail. Nubius, what's up, Nubius? Howdy. Hey, my friend. Oh, thanks, Boo. Yeah, Fato Boo. I think you gonna like this one. Hey, what's up, Jay? Oh yeah, Pastor. You said a great deal of foolery. Yeah, they gotta hear this, Pastor. They gotta hear it. So that because this can scare them. This will scare them from having to go to a place like this. It's a no. And then he won't even know who y'all. Y'all check this out. Y'all gonna love it. This was crazy. Okay, so this is the first part. It's called intake. As I walked through the steel doors, I cringed as I heard them close tightly behind me. I looked at the other inmates' faces, wondering how I got here. This place is not for me. I hated to be locked up, caged in anything, let alone jail. Uh, Things I should have thought about beforehand. Walking up the stairs was scary. I knew in my gut that this was just the beginning of a very tough time. The script room was next, an unbearable thought. And yet my feet stumbled that way. Take off all your clothes, barked the correction officer, CEO. I really didn't get a good look at his face. Maybe I didn't want to. More likely, I was ashamed. I took off every strip of clothing down to my underwear. Remove those too, he stated clearly. Humiliated, I bent and removed my underwear. As I stood, I looked into his face and saw no expression whatsoever. Hey, your pleasure, baby. The Pisces 888. Hey, boo. I wanted to scream about the injustice that was being done, but this was my fault. I had no one to blame. As I stood there naked, I thought about all the things I was going to miss. I had no idea how long I'd be there. All I knew was that the judge stated that if I could get any denter lifted, I'm sorry, detainer lifted, I could go home. Lord, how I wanted that to happen. Standing there, I realized that it wasn't so much that I felt scared, it was more the waiting and being around so many different people that was beginning to wear on me. Early on, I had a feeling that I wasn't going to get home for some time. So I should just try and relax. I felt the cold air coming from the air conditioner. It felt good. I stood there and tried easing my mind from all the stress that had been building up in me for some time. Hey, myself, love yourself, baby. Yes, the book club is on and popping. I had known for a long time this day was coming. I just didn't know when. It would be good to get it over with. Just as I was coming to grips, the CO ordered, now turn around, bend over, and spread your butt cheeks. Now turn around and lift up your now turn around and lift up your testicles and spread your back from and spread back your penis. Not spread back your penis. Y'all, what's going on here? There was nothing I could say. I felt so violated. When he finished the exam, he tossed me a brown shirt and a pair of brown pants, along with a plastic bag which contained a bar of soap, a comb, a plastic spoon, a plastic cup, a small tube of toothpaste, a toothbrush, and a small bottle of some cheap deodorant. I could feel tears coming, but I was determined not to cry. I was led to a small holding cell that had 3 benches and 3 telephones. There were about 10 others in there, niggas, all waiting for the nurse. I couldn't believe this shit. I couldn't believe that I was even a part of this. The phones were free, but there was no one to call. My mother was at work, so I waited. How long am I going to be in here? This question kept repeating itself in my mind. I turned and asked one of the COs how long I'd be in this particular cell. Oh, you're so welcome, baby. Just until you see the nurse, he replied. I started feeling at ease when the other people started cracking jokes on each other. The jokes were about 2 cute guys in the bench, Sean and Raheem. They seemed about my age, 18, or at least Sean was. Raheem, this is Raheem, y'all. Raheem was about 25. I couldn't resist. First, I looked at his face. Then I glanced down at his dick print. But there was no dick print in sight. Not in these brown shapeless sacks. Shapeless slacks. Slacks. I talked to the other inmates for a bit, but gave up. No one was talking about anything, just how they came to prison, what happened the last time they were here, and how long they stayed, and on and on. Here I was, wearing a brown suit that did not match my black Timberland boots, no dick print to speak of, just sitting there, thinking about my pretty smile, which was not smiling. At least 6 hours later, the nurse finally arrived. By that time, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Everyone in there was so tired. The nurse came calling. Na- the nurse began calling names in alphabetical order. Knowing I had a good while before she would get to my letter H, I called my mother. Yeah, y'all. He is funny. I'm telling y'all, he is too much. Hello, she said in one of her many soft voices. I could tell I woke her up. Mom, I'm in jail, I said quietly. In jail for what? She asked. I explained the story to her as best I could, just giving her the basis, such as the credit card scams combined with me already being on probation. I also explained I probably wouldn't get out anytime soon because of the detainer, even if she paid the 750 bail. She told me she'd try to get the bail money, but she couldn't guarantee it. I hung up. Again, I had the strange sensation that this was all a dream. Hey, sassy Francis Boo Boo. I wish it were this time yesterday, and even better this time last year. Reginald Hall, the nurse called out my name. I got up and walked to the gate where the nurse was. I had to stand there until the CO came and unlocked it. As he walked towards the gate, I could hear his many keys jingling by his side. Are you Reginald Hall? he asked. Yes, I am. Under new management, hey. Yes, I replied. He unlocked the gate and I walked across the hall to the nurse. I had never felt so helpless in all my life. When I got into the little room, I saw that she was a small lady. She seemed harmless, but still I was scared. I sat down next to her metal desk where I saw a box that looked like it contained a lot of needles. As she asked what my middle name was, she walked me over to the scale where she took my height and weight. My brown skinned body was 10 pounds overweight. She sat me down again and started asking a lot of questions. How had I ever done any drugs? When was the last time I had sex? Did I have a history of illness? What I was so distracted by the box of needles that I took a minute to follow her questioning. Before I knew it, she had a needle out of the pack and was trying a thick rubber band around my arm. I, I'm just going to take some blood, she said. I looked down at the size of the needle and jumped back before she even stuck me. I hate needles. When she finally found a vein and inserted the needle, I screamed. I could see the inmates across the hall laughing. You big baby, she said as she placed a cotton ball and tape on the hole. Intake was so dirty. Chewing gum stuck in the steps, old trash bags littering the hallways, cockroaches scuffling by. I would soon find out that the roaches weren't just in the intake area. By 2 a.m., I was hungry as hell. I was sure they weren't. I was sure they weren't. I was sure they were not about to give me that cheesesteak I've been craving all week. Time to go upstairs, the CO called. Fuck, I was tired. We all walked upstairs in a single file line. I tried to keep my distance from the crackheads and thieves, but it was no use. We were all headed to the same cell. Sorry, y'all. Shakim, hey buddy. Oh, thank you, Shakim. Shakim, this is a pretty good book right here. Yeah, this is about a young guy. He's gay and this was like his first like he was in jail and he made a memoir on exactly what took place the 8 months that he was in jail. So yeah, this was a really good one. And he was really smart. Okay, so yeah, we all walked upstairs in a single file line. I tried to keep my distance from the crackheads and thieves, but it was no use. We were all headed to the same cell. When we got there, I quickly climbed onto a top bunk that was closest to the wall. Taking my sheet from the CO, I rested my head on my arms and instantly fell asleep. I slept good. I couldn't be at home cuddled in my bed under my warm comforter with clean sheets and big soft pillows. I was jarred awake with the call for chop up. A yellow shirt runner from the jail had brought around 5 trays with pancakes and sausage. I jumped down off my bed and began eating. Despite the fact that I could see the oh, remnants of old spaghetti on the trays, what the hell? I was hungry. After I finished eating, I got back into bed and slept for another couple of hours. Okay, let's go, the CEO yelled. It was time to see the counselor. We all went back downstairs. I started cracking jokes with Sean and Rahim, trying to make myself feel more at ease. We waited in the holding cell for a couple of hours before they brought lunch around. Hot dogs and baked beans on some dirty air trays. I knew this was going to be hell. I hadn't eaten hot dogs for over 10 years and didn't need to start. I just let the food sitting. Oh, hold on. I just left the food sitting there. It wasn't long before some old guy scarfed it down. Shakim, isn't it funny? This guy's name, one of the dudes that he met in jail, his name is Rahim. That's pretty similar. Oh, Fato, you said it's some wild things that go on in jail and prison. Absolutely, boo. Ooh, and see, yeah, prison is, I can only imagine with all those, months on months in jail. Okay, time to go upstairs, the CEO called. I thought he I thought we was supposed to see the counselor, I said. You can see her tomorrow, he responded indifferently. Back upstairs we went to the same cell. My cellmates started talking, passing the afternoon. I was bored as hell. I glanced over at the other cells where where more people were coming in off the street. They looked terrible, like they hadn't bathed in weeks. I paced around the cell. In the corner was a sink attached to a toilet. I had to take a shit bad, but I wasn't about to go to the bathroom in front of all those people. Oh, in front of all these people. As the loud gates closed throughout the prison, I started to get a creepy feeling. This place was bad. I jumped back up on top of the bunk bed. I couldn't concentrate because of all the trash talking that was going on below. It was like we were all some kind of social event or something. I laid up there, not being able to sleep with all the noise, the clanging bars, the sound of keys, the relentless chatter. When I finally did fall asleep, I forgot where I was. Again, I slept like a baby. I slept through dinner, waking in the middle of the night when someone got up to take a piss. I could hear the screams hitting the floor, completely missing the toilet. Now I really started to get the creeps. Walking barefoot in the dark, I heard the man going back to his bunk, stepping in his own piss as he climbed back in bed, unconcerned about washing his hands or flushing the toilet. I didn't even want to dwell on it. The next day, I heard the CO walking around for a while before stopping at our cell. Let's go see the counselor. Here we go again, I thought. I jumped down from off the top bunk and practically ran out of the cell. Anything for a change of scenery. Back in the holding cell we went. I sat in the corner hoping no one would say anything to me or even brush against me. I was so dirty. I was sure I smelled. Even my underarms were itchy. So were my feet. I glanced around the dirty cell, looked up at the ceiling, and then down at my hands. I prayed that God I prayed that God would have mercy on my soul. I was about the seventh person in line waiting to see the counselor. I just got up and started prancing, the 12 by 24-foot cell. Oh, y'all, this is something else right here. The counselor called my name, Hall, Reginald Hall. I walked across the hallway into the same cell that the nurse was in the night before. The counselor looked at me and smiled. I smiled back. I sat down in the same chair. My heart was beating at a slow pace. I felt calm, but mostly I just wanted to go home. I looked down at the bandage that was on my arm from where the nurse had poked me with the needle. I kept glancing outside of the room, looking at the other inmates. Finally, I asked the counselor when I was going to get out of here. She smiled again and told me she didn't know the answer. Well, at least she told the truth, I thought. She stood up and turned on the air conditioner. That feels much better now, I told her. She smiled again. I started a conversation, asking her different things, like how her day was and where she brought her outfit. I was being very pleasant. I was hoping she'd tell me I was a nice kid and she was gonna arrange things to get me back home. But it didn't work out that way. Instead, she started asking me a lot of questions that I was not in the mood to answer, but I answered them anyway. Finally, she asked me what block I wanted. I told her E block and then asked if I had a detainer. She told me no. My bail is $750, and without a detainer, I could get out on bail, I asked. Oh, I'm sorry. And without a detainer, I can get, yeah, I can get out on bail, I asked. Yes, you can post your bail and get out because there is no detainer, she said, still smiling. I screamed, yes. That was when we were about done. As I was getting up to leave, she looked around on the desk and removed a couple of papers, uncovering a small piece of paper that read, detainer. I looked at her and she looked up at me with the same silly ass grin on her face that I couldn't just smack off. But I really wasn't too surprised. Sorry, I didn't see it, she said. I walked back across the hall. Oh God. Y'all heard that? That was a kick in the gut. So she basically had told him that he didn't have a detainer, but apparently he did. He saw it on the table. Oh, I know he's feeling some type of way. Yep. Okay. Going to see her was useless. No help at all. I waited in the cell with the rest of the dirty people, waiting until it was time for us to go upstairs. When it finally came time, I climbed up the dirty metal steps with the rest of the group. This time, I knew I had to use the toilet. My stomach was starting to hurt and I couldn't hold it. My first time taking a shit in DCP. My first time. He said this is his first time doing it. I went into the cell, took one of my bed sheets, and tied one end to the gate and the other end to the bedpost, creating a semi-private shitter corner. As soon as I sat down, about 3 heads popped up. Now, ain't that a bitch? It didn't make any damn sense. Clearly, there were a few freaks in there. Y'all heard that? Oh my, y'all, this book, y'all, I think right there, okay, I wanted to do 30 minutes. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to read the rest, y'all, soon. What we're coming up to is E-Block, because apparently she gave um he did get the E-Block sale. Yeah, Fato baby, this book, I'm telling you, it's pure comedy. It's something else, y'all. So yeah, I'm gonna go and get my oh yeah, we let's so this guy, he's in jail for a credit card scam, apparently. I'm quite sure he's gonna get with the counselor again, and she may ask him more questions. But it's just all of that right there, just in that little scoop, makes me say no way to prison. Like it's like, you sleeping in darkness and then piss on the floor. It's just imagine. Um, and then look at that. It's he trying to use the bathroom, and people popping up looking. Yeah, boo, boo. This book is gonna take your breath away. Um, so yeah, so he did seem to get the E-Block. That's where he wanted to go. Um, Even if I wonder what he knows about trying to get to this E-Block, but one thing I can say is I know that was just horrible to think you have a detainer. I mean, that you don't have a detainer and that you can get out, and then all of a sudden you see something flashing on her desk and then she's smiling. This ain't no smiling moment. Like, oh, you mean to tell me so I'm stuck in here? Yeah. So y'all, I appreciate you all, everybody, for joining me, and I will be back soon. Maybe even back a little later today because we loving this. You said, what is that? The penthouse? Facts, boo. Like, I want to know hopefully he'll talk about that. Like, okay, E-Block, like, who told you about this E-Block? And you think that it's better? Maybe he saw something while he was being detained. Maybe somebody done told him about an E-Block, because, I'm just like, who knows what he's getting himself into. Yeah, and apparently he has met two people that he kind of had a conversation with. One is named Rahim, and the other one was named Sean. Yeah, boo. But we gonna have us a good old time, Feto baby. Yeah, I can't wait to get back to it. So I'll make sure to let y'all know too. I'll I'll be putting out a notification so y'all can know when we'll get back started. So yeah, I'm glad y'all enjoyed this little good old first chapter. And the first chapter's name was The Intake, y'all. Bad news, I gotta say. So yeah, I'll be talking with y'all soon though. Yeah, my baby Feto, this was great. Y'all take care. I'll play some outro music. You can't see now this type of stuff right here, y'all. Can't help going to jail. You take everything personal. So he's already going out strong, I gotta say. Starting off strong. All right now, everybody. I'll see y'all soon. Bye-bye. Hey, my hypnotic touch. What's up, boo? Hey, beautiful. All right, Feto. Bye-bye, baby. Oh, you're welcome, baby.